Hello, I'm Jiang Feng. This video is a review of the AOKZOE S, an ideal saver handheld. The AOKZOE S model is not an iteration of the AOKZOE generation, but rather an offshoot of it. This handheld abandons the original generation's detachable grip solution and adopts a pure cardboard design. Equipped with the chip is based on Ruelong or 76800U Magic Z2 Go chip. No air price is 3,999 yuan, 16 GB memory plus 512 hard disk configuration. The first to support the national complement, I was in the Jingdong 3,399 yuan to buy. Roughly this price is expensive or cheap? This handheld codenamed Go S. In fact, the biggest selling point. Still support the native SteamOS system. This video will be divided into two parts. We're going to talk in detail about the Go S under the native SteamOS system and Windows. A detailed comparison of a 6800U handheld with the same core graphics. Steam's OLED, AOKZOE Generation ZE chip, and the Intel Lunar Lake handhelds, which have a better power consumption ratio. Intel Lunar Lake. There's a lot more to this test. I hope you won't be stingy with your kudos. After watching this video, I believe you will find the answer. Let's take a look at the detailed parameters of the handheld. The CPU of the AOKZOE S. The CPU of AOKZOE S is Zergo's exclusive chip. The GPU is the same as the 6800U. The GPU is the same as the 6800U and uses the RDNL12CU's 680M core graphics. The CPU adopts the 4-core, 8-thread Runsan Plus architecture, compared to the 6800U's 8 cores and 16 threads. Half of the cores have been cut. The base frequency has been increased from 2.7 G to 3.0 G for the 6800U. Acceleration frequency has been reduced from 4.7 G to 4.3 G. GPU frequency remains at 2.2 G. Maximum TDP is 40 W. Zergo chip pulls the full 40 W. TAMSPAD graphics score of 2,380 points. CPU score of 4,200. 6806 handheld at 30 W. They came with a graphics card score of 2,390. CPU score is 7,800. The overall score is consistent with the opinion gap. Memory is 16 GB on board. LPDDR5 6400 MHz frequency. The screen is an 8-inch 16:10 ratio. 1200p resolution LCD screen. Native landscape. Screen refresh rate of 120 Hz. Measured with AI Color Class Display Pro. Brightness of the screen branch 480 nits. Color gamut coverage 99% sRGB. Color gamut volume 105% sRGB. Almost identical to MSI Clover. AOKZOE screen parameters are almost the same. SSD is 512 GB. PC411 from CK Storage. Open the back cover to remove the extension bracket. Self-installed 2280 size SSD. SSD test. Branch reading 6,400. Maximum temperature 62 degrees. Branch display 5,400. Maximum temperature 64 degrees. Quite a nice disc. TF slot flash gold card read 47. Display 44. Only supports UHSI card slot versus the first generation UHS-2. Read rate will affect quite a bit. NIC is RZ626. Supports Wi-Fi 6E. Battery capacity 55.5 Wh. Original adapter. Standby default charge 60 W or so. It takes about an hour to fully charge. But you can change the charging rate in BIOS. Support up to 100 WPD fast charging. You can prepare your own ideal 100 W charging head. Let's continue to talk about the extreme thermal performance of the Handheld. Performance with fully discharged needs. CPU scheduling on the AOKZOE is very aggressive. Decentralized full speed mode. TDP setting of 40 W. Used at 23 degrees. Single bake CPU for 20 minutes. Core temperature against a 100-degree power wall. CPU performance release stabilized at 40 W. CPU frequency 4.2 G. 40 W under full load. The screen temperature of the body is controlled within 36 to 45 degrees. The highest temperature at the bottom of a small temperature outlet. 42 degrees. Cooling part of the chat is over. Let's move on to the peripheral battery life of the machine. The Defense version comes with Windows as its first release. Lenovo has also officially released the latest financial version of the SteamOS firmware. I will combine the two systems. Specific test. Let's start by showing you the biggest selling point of this machine, which is the SteamOS device situation. Currently, it's a beta version of SteamOS 3.8 system. The default graphics layer for the Handheld is 8G. The joystick has been specially adapted. There is a dedicated joystick icon. Adaptation of joystick buttons. Vibration is fine. Twice as many buttons can be used as normal. Lenovo Handheld dual-use menu function keys. Can also be mapped to SteamOS-specific menu windows. Volume. Bluetooth Wi-Fi is supported. But the system doesn't support TDP modification. Including the GPU frequency setting is not correct. The small touchpad on the right side doesn't work properly either. After switching to desktop mode, the handle is touching the keyboard in mouse mode. The right stick is simulated as a mouse. Trigger keys emulate the left and right mouse buttons. Returning through the version of positive motion is there. But it still doesn't work. The game runs at full refresh rate by default. 120 Hz refresh rate. The game's peripheral power consumption is very high. We need to wait for the future system to be perfected. Let's talk about the Windows experience. After the Handheld test, call-out function window. Can switch multiple default performance modes. Customize the power consumption of 5-40 W. Adjust the speed of decentralization, as well as adjusting the volume. Screen Bluetooth and other technical settings. Game Center support game library function. Support the change of joystick mapping. Support for more powerful CPU settings. Support for stronger BIOS and driver updates. Fully discharge the Handheld. Test 5W, 15W, and 20W of power respectively. 100% run to 0%. Hard disk 2 tested at 5W. Endurance at 6 hours. Whole machine discharge fluctuates between 8-9W. Running 3A games at 15W. Battery life at 2 hours and 20 minutes. Whole machine discharge fluctuates between 21-23W. 25W for 3A games. Lasts 1 hour and 40 minutes. Whole machine discharge fluctuates between 36-37 W when the power level is below 20%. Will drop to about 21 W. Overall gaming life of 2 to 6 hours is achievable. Limit GOES to lowest 5 W TDP versus 6800U. 1.5 W lower around GOES. Driver is not perfect at the moment. Frame rate performance is not as good as 6800U. Side-by-side comparison of Steam